Hello Gemini, Elsie here to do your reading. It is for the month of March. Thank you so much for clicking here. I do appreciate you, Gemini, as I have been. And thank you so much for the ways that you've been loving on this channel. Look, you guys also had the highest amount of subscriptions for the week last week. Thank you much for doing that. And you've got a bonus read coming because of that. That will probably come up sometime later today or tomorrow. So let's take a look at the overview for March. And if you are brand new right out the box, Gemini, welcome here. Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus, or Jupiter is what I read for. If you are someone who always clicks here, thanks for doing that. Now, we usually do a reading that is usually love, career and finances. This is going to be an overview, and we're going to do it a little bit different. I've got a little bit of a different spread I've made up here for you. And let's start with your current self. What is the energy that you're in currently and will be in for March? Look at that. I like it. We do have the Wheel of Fortune. It's going to be a changing month for you, Gemini. Lots of things are going to change that are going to end up in a fortunate way, but sometimes change looks hard on the surface. It is divine timing. It's nothing that you can avoid. You can't sidestep the Wheel of Fortune. It is a major arcana card. So we do have the overall theme for the month. What? Wow. That's some huge energy there, Gemini. There are some big changes, but understand that they are changes that you are putting into force here, because with the Judgment card, you've been thinking over something, going over the details of something, and now you're checking with your intuition. It's time to either resurrect something or put something to bed that's old and be done with it, because the Judgment card is about resurrection, which means something had to die in order for something to be resurrected. So it feels like something that you decided to end. You're making a decision of something really huge in the month of March here. Tell me about what is coming up as a key goal for you to pursue in the month. You don't have to remember all these. I'll go back over them again and we'll clarify them. So what is a key goal for you to pursue? Oh, I like that. Action, adventure. You're at the crossroads, I feel, in the month of March, and you need to make a decision about where you want to go. You want to stay on Earth or you want to reach for the moon? It's up to you, right? Tell me more about March. An obstacle to overcome. What is an obstacle you need to overcome in March? The obstacle that you may need to overcome is the Nine of Cups. We'll talk about that a little more. But it could be it could be a little bit of gluttony. It could be spending too much money, going out and having too much fun. We'll talk about that. What is a major accomplishment that is coming up in the month of March for you, Gemini? A major accomplishment? Oh, getting in touch with your intuition. You might be meditating more, or being just a little more in touch with you and what is really deep, getting in touch with you on a really deep basis. What is it that you should be avoiding in the month of March? We do have the Six of Swords. It feels like you shouldn't be taking any big decisions about movement. So that means leaving a job or maybe moving house or something like that. It feels like you should be... What to avoid is the Six of Swords. So that means that moving possibly too quickly, because the Two of Wands is here for this adventure. What should you embrace? I think there's something here that you feel like you have regret from the past, and I feel like you're supposed to embrace it. It's radical acceptance of the present moment. That once we stop being hard on ourselves for what we can't change, and we accept it as the present moment, as though we chose it, then it seems to pass us by. It's like the buffalo, right? The buffalo run toward the storm because they just want to get it over with. They know the storm's going that way. They're going to head straight for the storm because they know the storm will pass sooner. So I feel like that's what the Five of Cups is about for you. Where can you find support in the month of March? Within the self, it looks like it's going to be all about self-mastery. That there really isn't anywhere external for you to look. It's all internal. What's your advice for the month? Your advice is the Six of Wands in the reverse. Interesting. The Six of Wands in the reverse is don't move too quickly. Just because someone says to you, you're beautiful, or someone says you're exciting, or someone has their eye on you, maybe someone is coming along to stroke your ego. It's like you're not supposed to listen to that. But we're going to look at that more. Bottom of the deck, we have all sorts of moves that you're making this month. That's what it looks like. That there's all kinds of important moves that you are making. Big ones. And you are going to do them with a little bit of hesitation. Let's clarify here, Gemini. Let's find out what's going on for Gemini. So your current self is the first card. Look, this is the Wheel of Fortune. And it feels like everything is in place for whatever you want to move forward. The thing is, the Wheel of Fortune's not waiting for you. It's here. Like, it's here in the month of March. You're going to have a lot of change. You better get used to that. And things are going to work out for you, as the Wheel of Fortune would tell us, but it can be hard to change. This is fated changes, though. It's not like you can stop it. You can respond or react. That's really all that you can do. So we do have the Six of Swords here. I feel like you're moving away from something in the past because it feels like you require reciprocity. And I don't feel you were getting that in the past from someone, a situation, a person, a job. Take it as it resonates. We do have the Five of Cups, and it was making you sad. So it does feel like you are making a decision. The Judgment card is here, making a decision. It's here, right? You need to make a really big decision. And even the Wheel of Fortune, this person's looking into the past. And so the Six of Swords came up as in the past. I feel like you're detaching from the past, that you're detaching and you're moving forward. It is about moving. So some of you could be moving house, moving state, moving out of the country, but it does feel like a mental thing for me. It feels like you're about to detach from anything in the past that didn't work for you. So maybe you've decided to detach from February, January. Maybe they weren't very good months for you. We do have the Six of Pentacles because you require reciprocity. If you are being this generous, you're the person who is generous, who gives to people. If that's you, then I feel like you've been giving a lot, but not getting anything in return. And I feel like it's time that you started getting something in return. And I think that's what's about to change. If you're the person who's very giving and generous and feel like you don't get that back, I feel like that's about to change because you're disconnecting from the chaos to go to the calm. We do have the Five of Cups. The Five of Cups is sadness. It's a little bit of sadness. It's sadness for the things that didn't work out. It's regret from the past. I wish, woulda, coulda, shoulda, wished I would have done it, could have done it, maybe I didn't. Nonetheless, the Wheel of Fortune's here, and I feel like the Five of Cups is playing part in your changes. So you are moving away from people, places, things, situations, take it as it resonates in the previous months, and from yesterday or before that, take it as it resonates for you. And the Six of Pentacles tells me what you've decided to do is move on to calmer waters, which is where you're going to get some reciprocity here. But it is going to be a little sad. It's going to be a little sad that you have to move away from emotional situations that really never served you. I think you're realizing that you gave them January and February to figure it out, whether it's a workplace thing or a person. And it's time for you to make a really big decision. The Judgment is here. And the Judgment is your overall theme for the month. You're going to be making some really big moves. And this is natural because the Wheel of Fortune is here. So if you feel like in the month of March, it feels like the month of March is going to be stirring things up. Yeah, lots of changes coming here, and you are going to initiate the changes. I feel like you're finding a new soul tribe, or you're going to become more social. The Three of Cups is here. There is happiness, right? It's celebration with people who are on your side, right? A group of people who feel just as emotional as you do about these changes that you're making. People cheering you on. We do have the Four of Wands. They could be in your home. They could be people in your home that are cheering you on. Maybe your spouse or your children, or maybe you live with a roommate, but it could also be that people are cheering you on to move. So the Six of Swords is here, and it could mean that you're moving house. And here's the house. So for some of you, maybe you are moving house, but I feel like the Four of Wands tells me that whatever it is that makes you happy, the decisions you make are good, because the Four of Wands is also about stability. It's about excitement in the stability. It's about, you know, we're a pair, right? That maybe you're moving in with somebody, but it feels like there's people that are on your side here, whether it's one person or more. And it feels like with the Three of Cups that it's more. So you're making these decisions and you've got people cheering you on, helping you feel stable. And then we have the King of Wands. It feels like you're about to get some sort of inspiration to move forward, to do something that you've been kind of threatening that you're going to do up till now. And I don't mean that it's anything threatening. What I mean is, I'm going to go learn how to swim this month. Or you always said you were going to learn how to roller skate or snowshoe or whatever it is. But I feel like the King of Wands is sort of compelling you to move forward. But we've got 4 wands and 1 is 5 in the King's hand. And it feels like that there is 5 wands here, which is I really got to be careful with the way I move, because there could be competition and I could screw things up and maybe something will come to an end if I'm not really careful with the way I step. So this is indecision, right? So it feels like you will take action on something. You will be making a lot of decisions, but I feel like in the beginning of the month, you're kind of scared to do it. You see the situation present itself to you and you know that you can do it for your own good, your happiness and your stability, but you have to feel inspired to do it. The king's not going to do anything if he's not feeling inspired to do it. You can't force the king to do anything. So I feel that you will be inspired to make a lot of really big changes this month. That's what it feels like here. And then we have a key goal to pursue, adventure. And I feel like this is the adventurer, the grown-up adventurer, the one that knows that they have to take care of house and home and friends and all of that. But it looks like this person is the one who's got the fire. And it feels like this is something that you're going to do. It feels like you're going to expand your horizons, maybe reach for the moon, I want to say. The 2 of Wands is about adventure. It's about making a decision to move forward. And I feel like this month you will be doing just that, because the Chariot energy is here and it is about victory. It's fast moving energy. I feel like whatever you decide to do, whatever way you decide to go this month, I feel like it's exciting. It's brand new. It's creative. It might be passionate. It could have to do with passion, right? Passion in the person, but it also could have to do with a very creative, passionate idea, something that you've never done before. The 2 of Wands is the place where you get to make the decision about which way you're going to go. And maybe you've already gone that way. Maybe you want to go this way this time. So we do have victory in whatever it is that you decide is your exciting new path. And then we have the 10 of Wands. So the 10 of Wands is the place where you drop the burdens. So I feel like this month is going to bring levity for you. You're going to drop everything that was in the past. I love this. You're moving away with the 6 of Swords. You're going to drop all those things that were heavy in the past, people, places, things, situations, jobs, whatever it is. And it feels like you are carrying on. And this here is an obstacle to overcome. Tell me why the 9 of Cups is an obstacle to overcome. We have the Queen of Cups. We have the Page of Wands. And we have the 7 of Wands. I feel like you're waiting for somebody. I feel like you're waiting for something to change or for somebody to come forward. I feel like your obstacle is the wish fulfillment, because sometimes this can have us stopped in our tracks, right? We have our eyes so far into the future on the wish fulfillment. When are they coming? When is my partner? When do I get my +1? That we miss everything else that's going on around us because we're so pinhole focused on what is going on the other side of the keyhole. We've got our eye pressed up against the keyhole looking for things that aren't there yet, that aren't even prepared for us. And so we miss out on the wish fulfillment. So I feel like this is the obstacle. Don't get stuck in the 9 of Cups. Don't get stuck in the wish fulfillment. I'm not telling you not to wish and be happy and all of those things, but I'm telling you that if it's love that you're waiting for, wish fulfillment and love, I'm going to suggest you stop waiting for it, because a watched pot never boils, right? And as long as you wait, it will feel like so much longer if you continue to wait. What you need to do is find something exciting to do. Follow a new path. Find a new skill. And I think that's what the Ace of Wands was saying here. The Page of Wands is telling me that there's some exciting stuff that's coming in for you. Exciting incoming things, right? And it feels like it's going to make you be spontaneous. So rather than sitting your butt in the 9 of Cups waiting for wish fulfillment and love, I feel like you're supposed to be out there being spontaneous. The Page of Wands isn't one that plans. They don't know how to yet. They're children, right? So it feels like there's some really exciting, playful, flirty sort of energy that's coming in for you. And it's going to make you put the focus back on you again instead of waiting for whatever you think your wish fulfillment is. The 7 of Wands tells me that you're in the danger of being stuck, holding your ground, holding that Ace of Wands, which is here, and looking out into the future and just waiting. I'm not going to do anything, go anywhere, no trips, no fun, no nothing until I get my wish fulfillment. And some people just wait their whole lives waiting on something that they thought was theirs that never was theirs. So I feel like in the month of March here, that I feel like you need to try and figure a way to wiggle out of the 7 of Wands, being holding your ground, not going anywhere, being a little bit stubborn possibly. It's time for you to stop waiting for things to come. It's time for you to start living in the moment, like the Page of Wands. The Page of Wands is living completely in the moment, making spontaneous decisions and going with fun. I feel like you need more fun. So we do have the major accomplishment in the month, I feel, is that you are connecting to yourself, connecting to your source. It feels like you're coming out from behind the curtain, I want to say. For some of you, you might be telling people, look, I know that I've always had this energy. Maybe you decide it's time for you to just speak to people in a manner in which they don't really understand, but a manner in which you are. And I feel like you are psychic, a medium, a tarot reader, possibly someone whose intuition is on high. And I feel like you're going to talk about that more. It feels like you're peeking out from behind the curtain here. And it feels like you are getting more in touch with yourself as the high priestess, feminine or masculine. So I feel for some of you, you know that things are about to pick up here. You know that wish fulfillment is on the way. And it feels like you have hope that things are going to work out for you. Now, I want to say with this Empress energy here, we have Taurus and Libra energy. With this Empress energy here, I do believe for some of you, you might be waiting on an Empress. And whether you're feminine or masculine, you could be the Empress, possibly. The Empress is somebody who has leveled up to a place where they have a lot of wisdom. The wisdom of all of the queens. So when the Empress is in the room, so are all the queens. The energy of all the queens is here. We do have the High Priestess energy, and it tells me that you are becoming far more connected to who you really are. So you could be the Empress. Take it as it resonates. I know you're Gemini, but you have Taurus and Libra. Maybe you're a Gemini who is an Empress, who has got all of the wisdom and the energy of all of the queens already. I want to say for those of you that aren't there just quite yet, I feel like your wish fulfillment is this, that either you're wishing and hoping on some sort of an Empress to come forward or to go and see the Empress, or you have hope that you will heal yourself enough into being this Empress energy. I think you're right. I feel like you start to notice your intuition, and maybe you always knew that you had it, going with your intuition, going with your gut, however you feel, but it feels like you deepen that in the month of March, I want to say, Gemini. You deepen that in the month of March. Tell me about this Six of Swords. Why are we supposed to avoid the Six of Swords? Because the Six of Swords is coming here, but it's looking in the past. This one's looking into the future here. Tell me about the Six of Swords. Why is this something to avoid? I don't think you're supposed to make any quick moves, to be honest. The Magician is here. The Ten of Swords. And we have the Six of Wands. Okay, so I think it's cautionary is what I want to say. That it is cautionary. We've got the Death card on the bottom of the deck, transformation. I want to say that the Magician's here, and the Magician is the one that has all the tools. The Magician is the one that's bringing things from the 5D into the 3D. I want to say don't make any really quick moves. Make sure that you are detaching from things that feel chaotic. And I feel like the Magician here is getting you a little more grounded, because the Magician is bringing things in from the 5D into the 3D and making things a little more stable, right? And so I feel like you are, if you are to make any moves, please make sure that that this is something that you have the resources to do. Make sure it is something that you think is worth it. Like, I feel like you shouldn't be making a whole lot of really quick moves to detach and keep moving on. And I feel like you need to make sure that it is something that's really worth it. That if you're really determined to do it, go ahead and move forward. But it feels like you have cautionary energy here, which is the Ten of Swords. It feels like for some of you, what you're detaching from is probably silence or people who you feel have betrayed you. You know, we all have those people in our past, possibly, that you felt that they had your back, and then you realized that they didn't have your back. And I feel like the Six of Swords is telling me that if you are going to close cycles and move forward, do it in a cautionary way. Make sure that you have all the resources you need for yourself. Make sure that you are that you have all the skills, all the tools that you need to move forward. So do it in a cautionary way, but I feel like you will be ending some, like maybe a job or a relationship or something with the Ten of Swords because you feel betrayed. I feel like it's your choice, though. I don't feel like things are ending without your input. I want to say, I feel like you're the one who's deciding to end things and move along, because you do need the victory. The Six of Wands is about victory. It is about victory after the fight. So after being to the war or being having some sort of a fight. It does feel like there are people who are cheering you on to move forward. And the Six of Wands is also being very close to the finish line, right? Being very close to getting back to town where people know you, people know your name, people are excited to see you again. And I feel like it's almost like it's like you were somewhere else for a while. And I don't mean physically. I mean like maybe you were, not talking to people or keeping to yourself, or something terrible happened in your life. And now you've got to get your energy back, right? You've got to get your energy back, your resources back. It feels like you're rebuilding yourself. So some of you might be just moving on from situations, jobs, people that never really helped you out at all. And it feels like you are about to get this victory in the month of March here, that if you decide to detach and move away, it feels like it is going to work out in your favor. Tell me about the Five of Cups. The Five of Cups is what you're supposed to embrace. Look, when we give up things, when we close doors, when we end cycles, Ten of Swords, right? It is going to be a little bit hard to carry forward. And I think that what you're supposed to do is embrace the sadness. Because if we can embrace it as it is and try not to change it, try not to run up against the wall that says, I don't want it to be sad. I don't want it to be sad. I feel like it's something that you need to embrace, because when we embrace the present moment, it's only then that we can move on, right? So I feel like you are letting go with the Six of Swords twice here, that you are moving away from things from the past, and it's time for you to move forward. But some of it's going to make you sad. Now there's opportunities coming. There's new opportunities, things that are already being done for you in this month as we get close to the end of the month here. I do feel with the Page of Pentacles here that there is an opportunity here, some sort of an opportunity for you to ground yourself. We do have the Nine of Cups in the reverse, which kind of goes along with the Five of Cups in the reverse. It does feel like you're not really happy that you're moving on, or that you had to, but I think you waited here long enough, Gemini. I think you waited here long enough to either make a decision or wait for someone else to make a decision. And it doesn't make you happy to have to move on. The opportunity makes you happy, but it doesn't make you happy to have to move on without these people. But there was nothing else that you could do, Gemini. You had to say something. You had to be assertive. I don't think that you were terrible and awful to let go of whatever is back there, whether it's a relationship with friends, family, or a job, whatever it was. But I feel like you felt the need to have to liberate yourself because you were no longer happy in the situation, no matter what it was. It feels like you knew that you had to move on to this new opportunity because you just were not happy in the situation that you were in. So I do feel like you, in the month of March, that you are going to be very honest and assertive with people, and you're just going to tell them, look, that doesn't make me happy, so I'm not going to do it anymore. And then we have where to find support. And where you're supposed to find support is within your growth, your own personal growth. It is your self-mastery here. Going over the details of you. It's transformational. Working on yourself. I say to people, disappear. Disappear, get off social media, don't talk to people for a couple of months, and you'll see how quickly you will grow. Because it forces you to look forward, look within so you can move forward. Where do you find support? Within the self. We've got the King of Swords. You need to be really honest with you. Terribly cringe level of honest. You need to look in the mirror, not at your face. Don't look at your physical features. Don't look at your hair. Who cares if the skin's not great? Look at the person behind the eyes, Gemini, and find out what that person really wants. The person who's living inside of your shell. That is the person that I feel you need to be honest with. You need to be honest with what is going on in your life and how you are growing. It feels like you're about to make decisions in this month of March that are best for everyone involved, whether they agree with it or not. And I feel like you are being very honest and truthful and transparent with everybody. You're no longer behind the fear wall. I have no more fear. This king is not scared of anything. This king is just going to say it. And I feel like that's what's going on here, that you do so much healing that you're just like, you know what, I'm not going to be scared of that anymore. I feel like you maybe do detach because the king is a little bit detached, right? The king is detached, will do things that they want, want for themselves, making really big life-changing decisions, sometimes for everyone involved, even if they don't know it. Maybe you're cutting people out and they just log on to Facebook one day and all of a sudden they're off your Facebook list. Like, I feel like you're making those decisions, but really important ones as well. But I feel like it has something to do with whatever's been hiding in the moon energy. And I think that you haven't been speaking up or talking about it or telling people what's going on, that you've been keeping it all under the surface because you didn't want to piss anyone off. Well, the King of Swords is here. And the King of Swords doesn't really care what you think about the facts and the honesty and the transparency. The King's going to say it. It feels like with you working on yourself that this moon energy no longer scares you. Nope, it no longer scares you, and you no longer want to be exhausted by it. So I think you're diving in head first, and that you're going to be very, very honest with you in the month of March. We have your advice, which is the Six of Wands in the reverse, and it almost feels like it's telling me do it alone. Do it alone, shut off the phone, maybe have a time during the day, 7 p.m. or whatever it is for you. Shut off the phone, stop taking calls, stop doing texting with people, stop watching. Maybe you just want to get a good book. Maybe you just want to learn something. But it feels like the Six of Wands in the upright is like victory because everybody's cheering me on. Everyone's got eyes on me. But the Six of Wands is like I'm doing it myself for me. And I don't really need them. I don't really need everybody to give me their approval. I don't really care. The King doesn't really care if people give them approval or not, but they're still going to go through with it. When I see two swords that are facing up, to me it's a little bit of a block when they're facing up. So it feels like in this moon energy here that you get some clarity. You get some clarity about things that you didn't see before, things that you couldn't see. And I feel like you get it because you're going within. There we go. Realizations that now is not the time. Don't play with me. That's what it feels like. If people are going to play with you, you're like, no, nope, you can't play with me because I'm not settling for anything anymore. The Eight of Cups is looking at the Eight Cups and knowing that the Eight Cups is not a bad place to be, but the Two Cups is out there and you deserve all of the cups. So it feels like you don't care whose heart you have to break. You don't care if they're going to be disappointed because the King really doesn't care. When it comes to honesty, truth, and transparency, the King doesn't really care. Doesn't care if you really like what he's going to say. I say he because there's a man on the card, but please remember we're talking about feminines and masculine. So we do have a eureka moment. It does feel like you have a realization or an idea or clarity about when you go in to fix it yourself. When you decide you're going to figure it out yourself, it brings you some sort of a realization. And the realization is that it's not divine timing. The realization is that maybe the reason that I was stuck in these relationships, stuck in a place that I didn't want to be, stuck in the moon energy, is because it's just not the time for me to move forward. So I feel like with the Wheel of Fortune in the reverse, it doesn't necessarily for me as a reader indicate that there's misfortune, but what it tells me is that it's not time for divine timing, that it's not time to move forward. And I feel like for some of these situations, you have some sort of a revelation or a realization that really shakes you down. And I think what shakes you down is you can't have it all right away. Some of it does require patience. It requires divine timing. It requires fate. It requires change. And maybe this tower is coming in to help you make change. But I feel like there's realizations going on in the month of March that you do have to make some changes. And I feel like that's where all the rest of this comes from. That there is going to be a specific time, and that's when the tower falls, and that will be the time when you will be making decisions to walk away from things that no longer serve you, from places where you ended up settling for things. So I feel like the month of March is going to be a really big decision-making month for you. It feels like you will decide to move forward with the King of Wands energy, feel inspired to drop your burdens, and try some new things. I feel like you're going to stop waiting for wish fulfillment. You can ask for it once, and then you don't have to ask for it again. The universe is already pulling things in to make the situation the way that you wish it to be, if it is to be for you. I feel like you gain wisdom in this, or for some of you, I feel like for some of you, your wish fulfillment is an Empress, and maybe the Empress is out there somewhere and you have not yet decided to move toward the Empress. Because if you are waiting for an Empress, the Empress is not coming to get you. The Empress does not chase. So you are going to have to pursue the Empress if we're talking about this person being an actual person and not an energy. But I feel like your wish fulfillment coming in is going to be very abundant. I feel like you know it. The High Priestess energy is here, and your intuition is off the chain this month, I think. There's going to be a lot of decisions. People are going to see changes in you that they don't necessarily like. And I think that the people who are just like you are going to be honest with you, and you'll be honest with them, and it'll be okay. And for other people, when they're honest with you, or when you're honest with them, they're not going to like it at all. But boo-hoo, right? You need to do what's best for you, Gemini. It sounds like something a Gemini would say. Gemini, I'm going to go for now. Thank you so much. I hope I'll see you in the comments. I will be back with a bonus read. Love you guys so much. Thank you so much. Bye-bye.